Okay, so I got up like an hour ago, I think, and I wrote this whole script yesterday. So we're just gonna like full send it. Hi guys, welcome to Government, I think. This is your senior host Sagoon, and well, this podcast basically acts as my final project for American government. This year's government class was definitely special because it was actually a self-study course, which means I definitely did my work with complete honest integrity and did not cheat once at all. Anyway, I want to get this project done, so let's get straight into it. Here I have Miss Bloom's project outline. And it looks like the topic of today's episode is going to be about the 3 branches of government. Each of these branches have random things which I need to talk about in the branch category, so I'm basically going to go down the list and answer all the rubric questions because I'm lazy. First, we got the legislative branch. I had to sound that one out. Which is made up of the House of Representatives and the Senate, and those two together make up Congress. The House of Representatives and the Senate both function a bit differently, but in the end, they work, together. We can start with the House of Representatives, which is the lower house of Congress and has a whopping 435 members in it. Each congressman serves a 2-year term and can get reelected, and each state and the representatives take up some of that 435 member group proportionally to their state's population. So Wyoming probably has 1 representative who even lives in Wyoming. If you want to be a member of the House of Representatives, you have to at least be 25, live in the US for 7 years, live in the state you will represent, and be elected by the people. So basically, I could be in the House of Representatives if I was old enough. The House of Representatives has some powers which the Senate doesn't. For example, they can initiate tax laws and spending bills, they can initiate impeachment, and they can cast the deciding vote for the Electoral College when deciding presidents. Wow. The Senate, on the other hand, is the upper house of the Congress and has only 100 members in it, each state contributing only 2 Senate members to represent them. Because 50 times 2 is 100, so the math checks out. Each congressman serves a 6-year term, and 1/3 of the Senate can be up for re-election. The Senate is all about having equal voices and representation because of this 2-representative rule. If you want to be a part of the Senate, you have to live in the US for at least 9 years, live in the state you'll represent, also be elected by the people, and basically be a fossil since you have to be at least 30 to be eligible. The Senate has the power. The Senate has the power to approve presidential appointments and treaties. It also helps the House of Representatives with the impeachment process. The House of Representatives and the Senate basically both have the power to tax, coin money, declare war, and regulate commerce. The leaders, So I'm reading the outline and it's talking about congressional leaders. I'm just gonna name 4, which I think is what Miss Bloom's referring to. The Speaker of the House is Mike Johnson, who basically has the same jobs as anyone else in the House of Representatives, but also does more things like lead the majority party in the House. The majority speaker for the Republicans on the House floor is Stephen Scalise, and the majority speaker for the Democrats on the House floor is Hakeem Jeffries. And they basically rally their respective parties together and are kind of like their headstrong leaders for their respective parties. Did I repeat myself? Okay. And, I don't know what a whip is, but the Republican whip is Tom Emmer, and he assists with managing the party's legislative system. So, wow, that's so fancy. Let's give them all a round of applause. What's next? Describe one committee of Congress and give an example of that. What are committees? Oh, okay, so guys, an agricultural committee is part of the House of Representatives or Senate. There's 2 versions of it, but it basically handles all the stuff revolving around agriculture, nature, forestry, and other green stuff like that. There's committees for all different types of things, but why would we need that? this is a perfect segue into the next part of the outline. The legislative branch, both the lower and upper house, is in charge of writing and passing bills. Bills can be initiated in either the House or the Senate, and it goes through a bunch of committees, amendments, and floor debates, and then moves to the other chamber. But then if the chamber makes any edits to the bill goes back and it has to do the whole thing again, where it goes through the committee and the amendment, until the House and Senate then vote on the same bill, and then it goes to the president, where he can choose to make the bill an actual thing or veto it, which basically the bill doesn't become a thing unless the House and Senate kind of overcome the veto, and then they have to have a 2/3 majority vote in both houses to kind of block out the veto. If any of that fails, the bill basically just doesn't go through. So it's like, all that work for what, dude? Before I end the legislative branch section, I have to mention this because it's part of the outline, but I don't even know where this fits in. So, gerrymandering, yes, that's how you pronounce it, is when instead of the people choosing the representatives choose the people through specific district divisions. For example, like how an urban district can be divided into several other districts, including a majority of suburban voters. And then these suburban voters would get their way in the election if they were like divided maliciously, and they would have more presence, and they would accumulate more votes. I think. I'm not sure actually. Here's a picture which makes sense to me. So like they usually blue would win all around, but like because of how it's split up, red and blue are like diversified a bit. So then red actually overcomes some of blue. Anyway, the second we got the executive branch. I just want to be done with the project. Executive branch is the main powerhouse of all the branches. It handles the war stuff, vetoes, presidency, and they just got a lot of power. Let's go down the list here. To be the president, you must be a naturally born citizen, have lived in the U.S. for 14 years, and be 35. Presidents are limited to 2 4-year terms, and we have these limits because, well, the president holds a lot of power, and keeping someone and their ideologies in that position for over 8 years is a bit much, especially due to like conflicting ideas, public opinion, and like general reason. The 22nd Amendment, ratified in 1951, solidified this term limit. Oh wow, impeachment. Why is this odd here? Impeachment, to contrary belief, is not when a person simply gets taken out of office. USA.gov defines it as bringing charges against a government official for wrongdoing, which then a trial can be held and the official can possibly be removed from office. We have impeachment as an option to keep our president and other super powerful government people in check. Shout out to the legislative branch. The House basically initiates the impeachment process, and through a simple majority vote, the impeachment trial starts and the official in question can get removed. For example, Trump. I love Trump so much. Trump was impeached twice, apparently, on the account of abuse of power and obstruction of Congress, whatever that means. He's probably a pretty chill dude, guys. The executive branch can also sign diplomacies with other nations and veto bills during the lawmaking process. Well, that's my free 5 points. I love this outline, guys. So the president has this cabinet, which is filled with a bunch of different secretaries, departments, and the cabinet basically just acts as like the president's advisory board, like his little to-do list, his planner, and they keep the president caught up on all the different departments and their issues so the president can do his job. These cabinet members are appointed by the president themselves. What an honor, dude. Oh, that was a really short section. Okay. Oh, my phone. Lastly, we got the judicial branch. From the name, guess what this branch does, dude? It judges. Judicial. Judges. Oh my god. This branch holds the Supreme Court business and all that stuff. Let's see. The 4 types of jurisdiction. Original jurisdiction, appellate jurisdiction, exclusive jurisdiction, and concurrent jurisdiction. The outline said to name them, not explain them, so I'm skipping this. The difference between a criminal case and a civil case is that criminal cases are like more serious. Civil cases are like usually arguments between two people or organizations, while criminal cases distinctly apply to like the violation of law, which, you know, makes it criminal. I don't know, I think it's pretty obvious. There's a difference between like a small fender bender and like this guy murdering a whole family of 12, you know what I mean? Choose one type of federal court, and how many of them are there? Okay, so guys, the district courts are courts which are assigned to certain areas and whatnot. They can handle civil and criminal cases, and they're like the lowest level of court, so they handle all the busy work basically, while the appeals court and the Supreme Court can focus on more important things. There are 94 U.S. district courts. Of course, this is reasonable since, like, you know, there's got to be a district court in each state. I'm pretty sure there's like one district court in Alaska, but then there's like 5 bajillion in California. And now we can move on to the Supreme Court stuff, and I'm out. Yes! The Supreme Court consists of 9 judges, those being John Roberts, Clarence Thomas, Samuel Alito, Sonia Sotomayor, Alina Kagan, Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, Amy Barrett, and Ketanji Jackson. Dude, this is such a huge security breach. Why is there so much info on these guys? These Supreme Court judges get chosen. Oh, my script. I'm geeking. These Supreme Court judges get chosen based on the president's decision and the input of the court appeals and district courts as well. These guys do not have term limits. They can get out of their job by either retiring, getting impeached, or dying. Each justice has 2 law clerks, or 3 if you are the Chief Justice, which review trial records and do research and basically help the court case go smoothly. The current Solicitor General is Elizabeth Prelogar, and she is basically in charge of the actual court attendance and how well it goes. She determines staffing, directs the briefing process, and assigns the oral argument for any matter in the appellate court. Of course, since the Supreme Court is just so supreme, it can't hear every court case because it's too important for that. So that's why the Court of Appeals, or the largest district court, usually sends their unfinished case up to the Supreme Court to finish it up. The 3 types of opinions given by the Supreme Court are the majority opinion, concurring opinions, and dissenting opinions. It doesn't state to explain those. I don't even know what they are. Okay, I think that's the end of the outline. Well, there you have it, folks. That's the end of episode 1 of Government, I think, with your senior host, Sagoon. I had a lot of fun learning about the court system and the branches and all that. And the next episode is never, because I'm done with this class now. So me not care anymore. Me no care. Thanks, Miss Bloom, for being an awesome teacher. This assignment was really fun. And I will catch all of you listeners some other time. Thank you for tuning in. Dude, finally, this class is over. I hate government so much. Like, what even is a Solicitor General, dude? Like, that sounds so stupid. Oh, wait, is this thing still on? What the Sigma?